drive them out, and then I'll let them fly back because it buys an extra month. And that was a compromise that I had initially started discussing with her. But I told her, I said, in order to do that, I'm going to need the kids earlier in that weekend. I can't get them Sunday morning and drive them out there and be back by Monday for work. I said, so I need to pick them up either Friday night, and that way we can leave maybe kind of middle of the night type thing. I can get some driving done while they're asleep.
That's a brutal drive.
Something.
We're back, like forward and back.
No, I'm not driving back. I'm going to drive out with a rental car and then fly home.
Oh, okay.
So what I got back to her, as I said, thank you very much. That's very encouraging. You know, thank you for working this out. Like, it's very encouraging that, you know, maybe we can find a compromise like this on these other issues as well. But this is the important one. So I said, it's late now. I already talked to Mom about changing things to the 2 weeks. So now that this is here, like, it's too late for me to call her again tonight. I'm going to deal with this tomorrow after work, and I will send you all of the
liquid plumber.
That's the world's grossest.
Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? It's Ash on Comics time. Thank you all for being here. Look like we got quite an active chat. I'm really pleased by this. This is nice. Sorry to keep everyone waiting. It's difficult to manage personal life and streams. I'm sure you guys are all aware of that, especially those of you that have streams. There's a massive chat list that I got to go through today. Dane Barrett, first in. Thank you. Congratulations for being first. You have my respect, my friend. Eric Breen is second. Oh my gosh, Eric, it's been a while since you've been second, buddy. I thought I had a chance to be first tonight, he says. The odds that this starts on time, well, they were really good. They were really good until you involve children. But those of you that have kids, I'm sure you can understand how things don't always go as planned. So thank you for being patient. I had everything set up ahead of time, had the stream all ready to go. But Murphy's Law. Let's see. Maranya's in the house. Good to see you, Maranya. I am not going to try to read all these chats because there's a lot. You guys talking about crabs. Nalo is in the house. And then you're talking about Kyron Gillen. That's a weird name, is Kyron. Is that like a popular name over there in the UK? Because I feel like I'd never heard that name for the first 40-something years of my life, and now I feel like I hear it all the time. It's like all these Kyrons in the UK, and I'm like, wait, where did it? What? So it's not like a made-up weird name, but I don't know what it is. I'm sure someone can educate me. Let's see. Dane says, or bat caves. Something about bat caves. Speaking of bat caves, what do you guys think of the news of Batwoman quitting? Can you believe that? Let's see. Jimmy's in the house. Says, oh no, we hear everything. Yeah, you heard me talking to my roommate. That's what happens when you're trying to set up a stream at the same time and you're trying to micromanage, or not micromanage, trying to multitask. And, it's like, oh, my stream, I don't want to, I got some important things to talk about. Or, it's like, just hit the mute button. Abort. Ronnie says, and now from the mysterious Ash Cave, we hear the melodious vocal stylings of Ash on Comics. Thanks. That's kind of nice. That sounded good. Skip is here. Good to see you, Skip. He says, dope music. Well, thank you. I recorded it. Not myself at all. Almost sounds like explosions in the sky. Anyone new? Anyone else here? You guys are really talkative. I'm just keep scrolling. Tahilam's in the house. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Melissa's here. Stopped by to say hello, but I can't stay. She can never stay anymore, but she always swings by to say hello. That's very nice. Appreciate that, Melissa. I don't know if you're hearing me right now. But if you are, take care and stay safe, as Maranya said. And FF2 is around, according to Eric Breen, but I didn't see him in the chat. I might be blind. I am going blind. Well, I'm not losing my eyesight. My eyesight's getting poorer. I guess that kind of is the same, but I don't want to make it sound like I'm totally going blind. But I guess maybe eventually. Tahilam says, wait a second. Skip says, I am Skip and Dance, Lord of the Dance. All right, buddy. I was going to keep that secret, but now you're out. Yeah, Batwoman quitting. Ruby Rose quit. Or did she? I'm hearing some conflicting reports. Some people are saying that she was fired, and others are saying that she quit. Or maybe it was one of those things where it's like, you can't fire me, I quit. I don't know. I also heard she got a pretty bad injury on the set. To which someone else had commented, imagine getting like a debilitating injury, like a spinal injury. Imagine doing that for Batwoman. Can you imagine that? Remember Christopher Reeve, rest in peace. When he got that crazy accident and he became paraplegic, and now that it didn't have anything to do with film, but imagine something like that happening to you on set, and it was for a woke Batwoman series that everyone hates. Terrible. Ugh, terrible. So I can understand. If I was in her position, I would be like, I'm out. I am not risking my health for this pathetic show. And all the shit that she gets. I gotta feel bad for her. Now, this is another rumor. This is pure rumor. I don't have any way of verifying it, but I've heard that some people claim that she was like a total pill on set. Like no one liked her. She was a total... Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's not the case. I have no idea. But imagine being in her position, right? She can't please anyone because it's a woke show that all the real comic fans hate. I'm sure there's a lot of people praising the virtue signaling of it, but most actual comic fans just barf at the sight of the show. They hate it. But then the woke crowd hates it too, because get this, Ruby Rose isn't gay enough to play Batwoman. It's just like, what? Only in America can we have it so good that we can bitch about a gay actress not being gay enough to play a comic book character. Your life must be so good that this is something that bothers you, that you... There's a lot of things. I've had some discussions with my buddy about priorities, and we had a really philosophical discussion the other night about, the idea of like, somewhere out in the world, someone's living through hell, right? Like just the worst lives imaginable. You just think of like what's going on in Syria, right? What's going on in North Korea? These people that live as like slaves and stuff in there. Just the unimaginable hell that these people go through. And when you think like that, you go, wow, am I really complaining about the comic book industry? It just feels so trivial. And we had a really philosophical discussion about, just because there are worse things in the world doesn't invalidate everything else that's less, right? It doesn't mean that it's like, well, I guess we just don't worry about anything else until we solve North Korea. Nothing else matters. Homelessness in America, who cares? Could be worse, right? So it's a weird position to be in when you recognize it, because you're like, on the one hand, I get it. I get the idea that there's worse things to care about, right? To focus your energy on. But then there's the other aspect of, what real difference can I make in North Korea? Just using North Korea as an example. I mean, I can't. But maybe I can do something about the comic book industry. So I guess maybe that's why people focus some of their energy on. But anyways, I'm getting off in the weeds, as I like to say. I just think it's crazy that people have the time and the energy and the absolute privileged lifestyle to be like, Ruby Rose isn't gay enough. Down with... Just like, Jesus, dude. Christopher Barker's here. He says, sorry I'm late, Ash. Don't you let it happen again, buddy. FF2 is here. How's everyone tonight? Oh, we're just talking Batwoman, and how she's not gay enough. We need gayer Batwoman. I'm personally hoping that, because they're not canceling the show, I'm personally hoping that they recast her and they make her black, because she was too light skin tone. She needs to be black, and make her trans, because she needs more progressive stack points. for Batwoman. I'm not like, it's as Oprah is fond of saying, go big or go home. That's what I want. My Batwoman, just give these people what they want. I come from a tech support background, and one of the things that we used to, well, we didn't really say this in tech support, but just in tech circles of like tech geeks and stuff, just being like, the best way to actually get something fixed, like if you're talking like software wise, is to break it. Bitching about it accomplishes nothing. You can sit there and be like, oh, this isn't working right, and everyone will be like, whatever, just use it. Break the hell out of it. Like, make it misfunction. Make it like, oh, hey, this glitch that you guys didn't fix, yeah, well, it caused a major leak, and 5 million credit card numbers got exposed. Oops, we gotta fix that. That lights a fire up people's asses. And I carry that philosophy over to every other part of the world. Like, if you want to fix wokeness and culture, I don't think protesting and saying, oh, this is too woke, I don't like it, is really going to accomplish much. And don't get me wrong, I'm right there with you. I do it myself. I'm right there being like, this is woke, I hate it. So I'm not criticizing anyone who does that, but I'm thinking the real way to fix it is to give these woke people what they do. It. Oh, you want more diversity, which translation means we want no less white people. You want more, LGBTQ plus XYZ friendly, whatever. Translation means no straight people. Just make everyone a black trans female that's also gay. However that works, I don't know. Just do it across the board. Just every character. Steve Rogers now is a black trans female. All the X-Men, all black trans females. All Muslims. Every thing on the progressive stack you can figure out how to add. Throw it on there. Just give it, and then say, and then watch when they go, oh, we don't like it. Why? This is exactly what you wanted. We didn't want it like this. Exactly. It's stupid, isn't it? It's stupid. It was completely unnecessary. How do I get off on these weird topics? I don't know. But yeah, the Batwoman thing is, as much as I can't stand, I haven't watched a single episode of the show, but I was talking to Englantine on his stream, and I was saying I have not seen a single clip of the show that didn't make me cringe. If you can't show me a single 30-second clip, if there's not a single 30-second clip out there that goes, here, watch this and don't cringe, like, I'm not going to watch the show. I mean, it's so ridiculous. But Ruby Rose has never been the problem to me. I think she was a great cast for the character. I think she has a good presence. I'm not really a Batwoman fan at all. I don't really like it in the comic books, but I respect that she exists. And for the fans that do like her, and to complain about her and now she's gone, the best thing that was really about your show, I don't know what this. I can't wait to see what kind of monster this thing turns into when they recast it with someone else. And it's already like the ratings are through the floor. And then I saw someone on Twitter commenting about it and just being like, why would they do a second season? Like, are they just that desperate for ratings? And I said, if they were desperate for ratings, they would go do another show, because the ratings of that show are plummeting through the floor. Make no mistake about it. That show is not being made because people are making money and because you got some rich studio exec going, oh yeah, show me the cash, we're making so much. No, that is pure virtue signaling. Someone in Hollywood is going around, patting themselves on the back and just being like, look at what I'm doing for society. What are you guys doing? Like, all right, I guess you're not making any money. But what have you. So how is everyone doing tonight? I'm doing all right. I've had some interesting things going on the past couple days. I'm sorry about Tuesday. I could not get connected, but I am here tonight. And to make it up to you, we'll just get into some comics. How about we do that? Does that sound like fun, kids? Did I bore everyone to death? FF2 says, I hate stereotypes. I like stereotypes, to be honest. I think stereotypes are fun. I think stereotypes exist for a reason. I don't say this to be confrontational with you, FF, but have you ever seen that movie, Gran Torino? It's a Clint Eastwood film. It's one of my favorite films. Not one of Clint Eastwood's best as far as directorial goes. And I only say that because he's done some masterpieces. Like $1 Million Baby is one of the greatest films you'll ever see. It's heartbreaking and hard to watch, but it's a masterpiece. Mystic River, Unforgiven. That's my Clint Eastwood trilogy, by the way. I think he was robbed on Mystic River. He should have won Best Picture, but he did win Best Director on the other two films. He would have had 3. He would have been the most awarded director had they not robbed him from Mystic River. But those 3 films are masterpieces. Anyways, Gran Torino is probably my favorite of the films that he's done. And it is awesome. It plays off the concept of stereotypes so well. If you just want to see an interesting, how do I say, a commentary on stereotypes, that's a fantastic film. And also, it's a good commentary on prejudice and coming to terms with what you thought you knew, like how your prejudice deceives you, and you think, oh, I hate something because you think you know what it's about. But then once you get past that, and if you allow yourself to actually discover the thing you were prejudiced about, you realize you didn't know shit. And so you form different opinions. And then the things that you valued before, you actually learn that what an idiot you were to value those things. They were actually very bad. They were keeping you from seeing it. It's fantastic. The themes in that film, and it's a hero story, which I really gravitate towards. If you know me, I'm a sucker for hero stories. That movie really gets me. Skip says, I like stereos, Alpine, Bose, Pioneer. I like sound. Nice. I was a Clarion guy back in the day when custom car stereos were really a thing. That was my last custom stereo, was a Clarion. Skip also says Gran Turismo was so damn good. It was. Please, you guys, see that film. We only have so many years left with good old Clint, man, and that guy, so good. Gran Torino sounds like Gran Turismo video game. Yeah, it does. The film, the name of the film Gran Torino is about a car that's a Gran Torino, and of course Gran Turismo is about cars, so it's kind of the same. Let's see. Ryuk224 is in the house. He says, honestly, all those CW shows are trash now, except Supergirl. Okay. You got me. I was like, except Supergirl? If you stop it right there, you're like, wait, what? What's except Supergirl? But then he continues on and says, that show was garbage from the start. Nice. FF2 says, I love Gran Torino. It's on my top movie list. I just hate when it's not done right. Oh, you're talking about stereotypes. Okay, fair enough. That's a really good statement, I think, to say so you don't like bad stereotypes, I think is what you're trying to say. And if that is what you're saying, that's something I agree with too. I don't really like bad stereotypes, but I like, otherwise I like stereotypes. I think stereotypes exist for a reason. I love on The Simpsons. I love comic book nerd, right? Simpsons comic book. Everyone here should know Simpsons comic book nerd, right? But he exists the way he does precisely because of a stereotype, and we can relate to him, and it makes it funny. It makes the joke work, right? Speaking of The Simpsons, and it's woke culture. Remember, was it Abu, the Quickie Mart owner guy that was, what was he, Middle Eastern, and then the show got rid of him because they decided they were going to be woke and not have Middle Eastern Quickie Mart shop owner. Like the whole country is full. Like that was like, if you want to talk about a true stereotype, there are fewer true stereotypes than that. Holy cow. But he was a great character. He was fun. Like it never made fun of people in a degenerating way. It was having fun with people. So Jimmy makes a comment. What does Jimmy say? I liked all the CW shows until each of their own season 3s. Supergirl being one of the top ones I liked. Do you guys like my Jimmy impression? I think I sound just like him. Comics Quirks, I still watch the CW. I'm like the only one who doesn't watch CW shows, I think. I don't understand their appeal. I apologize. Everyone, I just don't get it. I don't get people, especially what I don't get about the CW shows are the people who bitch about crappy comics. Because I'm like, as crappy as the comics are, these CW shows are, well, maybe, no, hold on. I'm not, okay, I forgot about Marvel Comics. All right, man. It's tough because the CW shows are all DC Comics. And I'm like, the DC Comics are all better than these. Like, why would you subject yourself? And then I realized that Marvel's... I do want to check out Arrow, though. Everyone said Arrow, like the first couple seasons of Arrow was really good. So, I don't know. I'm kind of burned out on live action superhero stuff. I really am. People don't believe me. People argue the concept of superhero fatigue. Englentine is a big person that is has a different view than me, and his view that he's expressed is, I'm not fatigued as superhero films. Like, the more the better. Like, it just, if they're good or not, and which, I mean, I kind of can understand and agree to that a little bit, but I'm kind of even burned out on good ones. Like, the idea of like another MCU film, even if it's like it's going to be the best one, Ash, it's going to be the best MCU film, I'm just kind of like not excited. I'm just, you know what part of it is, as I've sat and thinked about it, and my great grandma said, as I've sat and thought about it, I've kind of come to a realization that comics don't work in live action. And some people are going to be like, what you talking about, Willis? They do to an extent. I mean, I love the Avengers, love the first Iron Man film. I love Thor 3. I like Ant-Man. I liked the Doctor Strange movie. I like most of the MCU films. They're fun. The first 2 Spider-Man films are great. Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. The Rocketeer, one of the most underrated comic book films of all time. There are really good comic book movies out there that are fun to watch, but they're fun because they're just good movies, but I don't enjoy them on a comic book level. When I go and read a comic book, and I had forgotten this because I was out of comics when the MCU kind of came around. So my comic book experience was movies. Now that I'm like more heavily back into comics and immersing myself and surrounded with just comics all the time, I'm realizing why, like, comics are so different. And you can only do in comics what you can do in comics. You can't do it the same way at live action. When I look at these characters and they all look real, and I was coming to think about it, I've been playing this mobile game that Marvel Strike Force, I think is what it's called. And you collect these characters, and then you battle with other characters, and you level them up, and then you collect more characters. And I've been trying to get into the game because it's just a fun distraction, and I like collecting things, and I like progression. And but one thing that nags me about the game is every single character. Now, keep in mind, these are computer animated characters. They're not like videos of. They're not real people. Like, it's computer graphics. But the way that they're drawn the 3D models are done is not to make them look like the comics. It's done to make them look like actors in costumes. And that really bothers me when I look and go, oh, look, there's Captain America, but he's not wearing the comic book Captain America suit. He's wearing this weird hodgepodge leather, with like plating, like, like the way they do in the movies. And I'm just like, this looks like a movie thing, which I get how the movies you kind of have to do it because no one looks right in spandex. But when you're in a video game, you can make them look like a comic book character. Look at the Spider-Man video game. Oh yeah, that's a great video game. But the Marvel game, it's like, let's make them all look like real people. I don't want that. I want them to look like comic. Anyways. Chris Barker says, what about Smallville, Ash? Comic book fatigue? I'm feeling that on the MCU. I did not watch a lot of Smallville. I've caught episodes here and there. I thought it was okay. Again, I was out of comic books at the time. And I was not a DC guy up until that point. So I was like, oh, it's Smallville. It's Superman, but without the Superman. The premise of the show about we're going to do a story of Superman, but not put him in the costume, I didn't jive with at the time. Now, as seasons went on, they sort of backpedaled a little bit on their ideas of doing that, which I think was for the show's benefit. And I had seen some episodes. I was like, this is interesting. I like how they're doing it. It's something I've considered going back and just trying to binge the whole thing. I like Tom Welling as Superboy. I like some of the things they did. I liked Ma and Pa Kent. It had some cool stuff. And, that show works as a TV show. And I think in hindsight, the producers of that show understood that they couldn't do a comic book. So they did what TV does well. And they made it a drama, right? About interpersonal relationships. And I think that's what worked for it. Same thing with the Lois and Clark show before that. And you take another show, was it Gotham? These shows understood, hey, we can't do the comic books, but we can take a show and be inspired by the lore of the comic books and make a TV show based on. And to be honest with, those shows I don't feel burned out on because they're not trying to be comics. They're trying to take aspects and lore from comics and make a TV show out of it, which is kind of weird to think that that's kind of what I would rather have, right? Yeah. Although not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That show's atrocious. They did not do S.H.I.E.L.D. the way I wanted them to do that. Christopher says, read Smallville Season 11 comic book run, Ash. Well, shouldn't I see the show before I read the comic book? I don't know. He also says, comics are supposed to be different than the show and movies, Ash. Duh, it's a no-brainer. Well, I don't think so. I think what makes the MCU so good and what makes like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man so good, etc., is because they were the closest to the comic books we had ever seen. They were getting so much closer. But I also think that it had a side effect that was never foreseen of getting what you wish for. And maybe not everyone's in my position. I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking just for myself. And the more I think about it, the more I'm realizing that the reason I'm having this fatigue is because I'm wanting comics. And the MCU initially gave me the closest I'd ever seen in live action. But now after 20-something films, I'm realizing that no matter how good they do it, they're never going to give it to me on live action. And one of the things that planted that seed was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you go watch that movie, which I think is an overrated movie, but a lot of people think is the best Spider-Man movie ever, but whatever, I don't care. My only point of that movie is when I left that theater, I was like, that's how I want every comic book movie to be going forward. I want it animated like that. That was how you did a comic book on the screen, in my opinion. Visually magnificent. Like you can't do what that movie did live action. So that's just my opinions. Cork says, so how is Hickman's FF so far? Well, I don't know, Jimmy. If you had been here, were you here? I can't remember. My memory's really bad, so I'm giving you shit, and I realize you might even be there. But you should know because I've been reading it, and if you're not there to listen, then I'm highly offended because I'm doing it for you, my friend. Speaking of that, I should probably pull up the Comixology. Let's go ahead and get the show on the road. Oh, gotta log in. My password is secret. You guys can't see it. Good. As I dox my Amazon. Ah, no! What is this? All right, hold on a second. What do you mean I have to type in stuff? There you go. All right, I'm logged in. There's some new comic books came out today. You get to watch me buy more comics live. That's what really gets you guys excited, I'm sure. Look at this, new Batman. We'll do it live. Look at that. People are giving it 5 stars. They love the Batman, especially with Sean Gordon Murphy. He only does the cover, sadly. And look at this new Superman. Dun, da, da, da. Add to cart. You get to watch me buy comics live. Isn't this exciting? I have a live stream where I just go and I click and buy comics. Ash buys comics. It's my new channel. Look at this, kids. I'm getting 2 comics for $1.75. How long has it been? Eric, are you still awake? How long has it been since you could do this? Complete the order, I say. Christopher Barker says, physical copies of comics all the way. Keep the comic industry alive. Hey, I'm all about physical copies. However, these are not available in physical, so I can't get them. Also, if they were physical, they'd be, what, $5 versus $1.75 for 2? So, no, I'm not paying $5 for these. Sorry, comic book industry. I want to keep you alive, but I am not going to be bent over and pick up the soap in order for you to do it, if you get my drift. Jimmy says, you've had a couple of days to think, so I wanted your time off reaction. Time off reaction? Chris says, Ash's logic seems to be, I want comic movies to be like the comics, and then decide he doesn't want anymore. You're not far off, Chris. Now you gotta understand, I'm in my mid-40s, so I understand what it was like when the only comic book movie really that was worth anything was Superman 1 and 2. I remember when Batman 89 came out and it was this huge deal. And then it was like 10 more years before we got an actual real superhero movie in Spider-Man. We had things like Dolph Lundgren, Punisher. Now the Blade movies were okay, but I always argue against those because they're not really comic book movies. They were not the Blade of the comic books. Most people didn't even know those movies had anything to do with comics. It really could have just been a brand new IP, and whatever. But comic book movies used to suck bad. And you just didn't get them. And when Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, it was like a revelation. And it still was going to be like almost 10 years until the MCU started after that. So that's 2 decades of just blah. You know, and in between you get some gems, like The Rocketeer was cool, but it wasn't a mainstream comic. It wasn't Marvel or DC. So yeah, for sure I wanted, man, that Iron Man movie, phenomenal. I mean, I'm still getting kind of goosebumps of remembering the time when I was at San Diego Comic-Con and they showed that footage off the first time of Iron Man flying through the sky with the jets, and I was just like, what am I watching here? This is amazing. And I agree. I wanted it. It's one of those things where you want something and then you get it and you realize it's not so much that I didn't want it. It didn't give me what I thought it was going to give me. And I'm happy now that I've had it. I'm like, cool, I've seen it. I got my dream. My dream came true. I got 20 plus movies of an MCU and it was good. I had it. I got to try it out. I had my fill. Now I'm happy to go back to comics. I don't have to wonder what it's like anymore. I don't ever have to sit there and go, wouldn't it be cool if they actually did comic book movies good? They did. All right, cool. Back to comics. That's kind of my logic. Comics Quirk says movies aren't for you anymore. You're getting like grumpy brain. Dude, no, movies are for me. I just actually appreciate the good stuff. The popcorn trash is getting harder to tolerate. Ash will then realize he'll miss TV shows and movies when they're gone. Yeah. I do. I like good TV. And you know what I like? It's funny. I like the comic book stuff. Like, I like The Boys. But I don't feel like The Boys is comic book. You know, like it's... I don't know. I like good TV, actually. I like my comics to be my comics. I like my TV to be my TV. I think each does their own thing really well. And when they focus on what they do well, they can both succeed independently. That's all I'm trying to say. And I'm just talking for too long. Which of these books should I read? Batman or Superman? No one's going to answer. You're going to make me pick? I can pick Vagrant Queen if no one answers. Would you rather me read Vagrant Queen? Vagrant Queen number 1. Here's a comic book TV show. See? I got 1 vote for Superman, 1 vote for Batman. Dane says Superman, always Superman. It's 2 votes for Superman. Whichever gets 3 votes first is going to win. Vagrant Queen's got a vote. No. Meow cat. We got a Vagrant Queen fan in the house. Whoever gets 3 votes, who's going to get 3 votes first? Batman, Superman, or Vagrant Queen? Ryuk says, go ahead, Ash, read it. I dare you to read Vagrant Queen. Dude, you don't dare me. I'm going to read in front of you. You're going to make you listen to it. Tehillim says America. Sorry, America's not on the ballot. There's no write-ins for this vote. Christopher says, Ash, do you think the issue is you're burnt out because the superheroes are popular for the normies? Also, Superman, my logo says it all. No, I don't think so at all. My highlight of my time in comics was the late 80s, early 90s, where normies were coming off the street to buy millions of X-Men copies and Image, Spawn and Wildcats. And like I was all about like making comics for the normies. That was my generation that made that happen. I don't care. I do care about comic stuff being made dumb for people that don't actually like comics, like Captain Marvel. But no, I have nothing to do. I want normies to like. My thing is, normies are only normies because they haven't gotten involved in it, right? We're all normies at something. We're geeks in comics because that's where we devoted our attention to. But you might be a normie at, I don't know, like lacrosse. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that's someone in the chat's not gonna be like, I love that. You know, I want it to be popular, because if actually what I should say is I want it to be good. Popularity is just a result of something being good. So no, my burnout I don't think has anything to do with that. Like I said, it's just not. For the longest time, I wanted something I'd never had before. Once you get it, you're like, cool, got it. It's like driving. That's why I try to think about using an analogy. Do you remember that time when you were a kid, before you ever drove a car, and how exciting it was to get behind the wheel for the first time and drive? Like for real, like not in a parking lot learning, but like on the street. And then that first time where you got in a car and got to drive on your own without it's a driving teacher or your parent or wherever, like you're just by yourself driving. Like it was just like the coolest feeling. You're like, yeah, I'm grown up now and independent. I'm driving. I'm so much cooler than all the other, like there was just this sense of like wonder and awe and just amazement that you were at this point in your life. And now that I've been driving for 30 years, I look back and go, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy driving, but I don't get the sense of wonder anymore. It's whatever, it's driving. Sometimes you're just like, I don't feel like driving anywhere, But when I was 16, I would have been like, do you want me to drive? Do you want me to go to the store and pick up stuff? Do you want me to get stuff? Any excuse to drive. That's what it was. Anyways, I'm not going to answer any more questions. Superman did win, thanks to Chris Barker. So here we go. Do you like my musical sound effects? Dane says Vagrant Queen has surpassed 3 votes. Unfortunately, she fell behind Superman. Superman got the 3 votes quicker. So here we are, Man of Tomorrow by the man, Robert Venditti. What makes a city? Part 1. Big. No worries. Superman will save the day. Boom. He gets smashes in the side of a semi. So, we're going to do this the hard way. I really like Pelletier's art. It looks even better when you see the full layouts. I'm done monkeying around, Titano. What makes a city? Part 1. There's the credits. Robert Venditti, Paul Pelletier. Grumble. I really like, too, that Venditti seems to give Paul quite a few 1- and 2-page splashes to really get some of the spectacle of Superman's story. Like here, where he's fighting a King Kong analog. Look out! Everyone, get indoors. Boom. As a LexCorp camera spies. Finally, the pieces are in place. Pa warned me the big city was a jungle, but this is ridiculous. Thunch. We see Superman laying in the rubble. The launch date has arrived. Wha-bam! Wha-bam! Man, Superman's just taking a pounding. Superman! Come on, get up. He's beat. At last, the people realize they aren't protected as they believed. Deet, deet, deet. Metropolis isn't Superman's city anymore. Metropolis is mine. Supervillain threat detected. Look, that camera. Crime endangering public safety. What's it doing? Neutralizing. Zzack, zzack. Get down! How freaky would that be if all the city cameras that you see all the time you don't pay attention to just started turning into laser guns and blasting shit? Would that freak you out? That'd freak me the hell out. Whoa! Zach. Here again, look at this massive, nice use of 2-page spread. Or is that no, single page? It just looks different on my digital screen. Doom. Yeah, sorry. That was a little premature because I was looking at just the panel view. But going back, I'm going to back up here real quick. That's one panel. That fooled me into thinking it was a 2-page spread. So that I'm thinking that Paul either has really high detail in his drawing or he's drawing on really big canvas and they're shrinking it down. I don't know what it is because they're supposed to be using a standardized size. I think it's like 10 by 15. I forget. Oh. Superman pulls himself from the rubble. No one even notices him. Did you see that? The camera's turned into guns. Dropped Titano, the super ape, with one blast. It was probably more than one blast, but Titano had Superman out cold. Supervillain threat neutralized. LexCorp is happy to secure the city of Metropolis. LexCorp. Meanwhile, at the Daily Planet building. Olson, what's the world's newspaper of record? The Daily Planet, Mr. White. And who are its 2 lead reporters? Miss Lane and Mr. Kent. That's what their salaries say, too. So maybe one of them can explain how they let the biggest story in Metropolis happen right under their noses. Wait a second. I'm confused. If the story happened right under their noses and they didn't get it, how come it's front page on the Daily Planet? I think he would be holding up what is it, the Metropolis Gazette? I forget the competitor to the Daily Planet. I forget what it's called. Anyone? Kent, Lane, starting now, your job is to find out how Lex Luthor's company scored a contract to provide technology, surveillance, and weaponry to Metropolis PD. His camera gun doohickeys worked better than Superman, for crying out loud. Oh, let's not exaggerate, Perry. I'm not finished. We're the press. It's our job to let people know when guns go up on every corner. We aren't watchdogs if we don't get off the porch. This is about pride. More than that, it's about our duty. Now do what I pay you for. I don't trust this. Luthor is up to something. Of course he's up to something. Get over here. Oh, Lois, what do you got in mind? What's going on back there in the corner of the office? Oh, wait, this is not a Bendis comic. I forgot. We're not going to see any Bomb Chicka Wow Wow. The question is, what are we going to do about it? But what if he isn't up to something? Are my personal feelings about Luthor getting in the way of my conclusions? Maybe he just wants to help. His tech did beat Titano. I was losing. A lot of people could have gotten hurt or worse. Is this only bothering me because someone else saved the day? Oh, Smallville. You aren't that selfish. you wouldn't even know where to start. It's possible Luther wants to help the city. No strings. Stranger things have happened. But Perry's right. It's our job to know for sure. We're reporters. You're the city's hero. There's no one better than us to make sure Luther's motives are pure. So let's be sure. Lois, if people knew you were married to Superman, they'd assume I'm in the strangest relationship. They'd be dead wrong. Wait a minute. Is Venditti poking fun at something there? Because the world does know that... I had forgotten. Anyways, back to the show. You're a lucky guy. Your wife has brains and brawn. Let's chase our story. Daily Planet. LexCorp folds Royal Flush Gang. Oh, so Luther's done something else. The Daily Planet headline. New Lex Tech cracks atomic skull. Headline. Lex Luthor, Metropolis's guardian angel. 3 weeks later. I don't believe it. Did you finally find something? I got a call from a colleague in Central City. He said the Flash just brought in the Prankster. Prankster is a Metropolis supervillain. He told the police he went to Central City because our city is too difficult to operate in. LexCorp's anti-supervillain tech chased him out of town. LexCorp's tech is everywhere. It monitors day and night. I was just confirming with the statistics with Metropolis PD. There hasn't been a supervillain event in 11 days. Is it possible? Did Lex Luthor solve the supervillain problem? Maybe we let our biases get the better of us. We don't have to like Luthor, but we do have to admit the city is safer. Looks like Superman is out of a job. It's late. We're both tired. Have a few more lines to type up, but you head to the diner for a decent meal. I'll see you in a few minutes. Think about something else for a change. Help! Thief! Supervillain threat detected. What? No! Crime, robbery. I just skipped out on my check, that's all. It's only a couple of bucks. Stop. You can't hurt this man over a few dollars. He made a mistake. New supervillain threat detected. Crime interfering with law enforcement. Bzzz. Neutralizing. Bzzz. Next. A city versus Superman. All right. Oh, shit. God. No. Oh, God. Oh, you guys are killing... Oh, I'm killing myself. What happened to the screen? Oh, God. Oh, man, I just want to throw my headset across the room right now. Did I just do that again? This is why I need a co-host. So what's the solution? What is the solution? Make it rain. Oh, man. This is the hardest part about doing shows like this is when you do something totally freaking moronic and everyone sees you live. And then you're just like, dum, dum, dum. What's that term? You got egg on your face. It's okay, Ash on Comics. You won me $1. I'm eating good at McDonald's tomorrow. What I need is... Yeah, Christopher, I did a similar thing. I don't know if you were here before. It wasn't for a comic. I was like showing things in, I think it was Comixology. I was showing stuff, and then I realized I didn't have the screen up. So that wasn't quite as bad. But here's the problem. Is this is done. I want to have a replay of this. But I don't necessarily want to read it again, but the replay is not going to work without the comic. So it's like a total fail. Total fail. Oh, man. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to flip through the panels here. You guys know what happened. So you can just see the art. And I was sitting there talking about the art too, and you guys couldn't see. This is why I need to stop. I've made the habit. I used to, when I started off, I did where I would read a page or two, look at the chat, read a page or two. And then I felt like it broke up the flow too much, especially since I get really bad in tangents where I don't stop talking, I lose track. Skip's real good. He can make a comment and then go right back into reading. So I was like, I'll just read through because that way it'll have the drama of the whole book, and someone who comes back and watches it later don't have to, they can just get the whole thing. And then, of course, I don't look at the chat, so I don't see that you guys are warning me and being like, hey, doofus. Dane says just bite the bullet and move on. All right, Dane, I'm going to listen to your wisdom. But I'm going to go through the pages here as I'm talking so you guys can at least see the art. Skip, what's your Cash App, says Jimmy. What did you guys bet? You guys are doing the over-under on how long it would take me to realize? That's funny. Well, at least you guys got some good entertainment out of it, right? If Eric Breen were here, he could have called me and told me. But you guys can blame it on Eric. Of course, if Eric were here, he'd be roasting the shit out of me right now. So I guess maybe it's good that he's not. Bum-ba-da-da. All right. I have learned my lesson, folks. This is not going to happen again. Yeah. It's funny, too, because I have my iPad where I have the YouTube channel going. But I just, you're focused. I'm reading panel by panel. I just got to look 45 degrees to the left. And... but I'm not. I just got to... Now I know to commit. I'm going to put a little sticky note on my monitor and say, yo, idiot. Take a look. All right. I keep making these weird sounds. I think it's out of nervousness. Chris says, don't worry, Ash. Your career as an audio narrator will take off. You just got to believe in the dream. I thought I was doing all right on the audio parts in the beginning of the show. I felt pretty good about it. I felt pretty good. Let's see. Dane says, we entertained each other making fun of you. There we go. I'm like the comic on the screen that you're not laughing with, you're laughing at. All right, so here's the next comic we're going to read, and I want to make sure I do it right because this is the comic that y'all came for. I'll get to this in a second. And it's another thing, too, is I should probably do it like this. There we go. So now you can see full screen. How about every time Ash doesn't show us the pages, he owes us a reading through of another issue of America? Oh, man. Yeah. I'm going to read America again. I'm just saving them. I'm rationing them out so that they have more significance. Let's see. Chris Barker says Avatar is overrated. Shame on you, buddy. Shame on you. That's what everyone wants to say. So I think Avatar is actually highly underrated because it's become the popular thing to hate on. All right, well, it's difficult to interact with a chat when you're just being made fun of. So I'm already humiliated enough. We'll just get into Fantastic Four, and then maybe we'll have something positive to talk about. This is the, fourth issue? Yes, fifth issue, actually. Fourth issue in the run, but the fifth issue because I did read 605.1 on the last, and that was really good tie-in. I really like these covers. This one's kind of a cornball cover with the kids, which I really don't like the kids, but I guess it kind of works. It's kind of funny because I live with two kids about this age, so I kind of relate. Although they're not weirdo evil like these kids are, well, or at least like Valeria is. I just don't like that kid. That kid gives me the creeps. Avatar is Pocahontas. It's been done to death. That is... Okay, I gotta address this. It has not been done to death. No one even knew the story of Pocahontas until Disney did it. And even then, no one really watched the Disney Pocahontas. Like, it was not a popular Disney film. So I wouldn't say it's been done to death. That's really reaching. It's like, I saw something that was like the other thing, so it's been done to death. That's like saying, Star Wars was based on a Akira Kurosawa film, so it's been done to death. Star Wars is stupid. Like, come on. Like, it's, I'm sorry. I just feel like that's not intellectually honest. I think it's one of those things. It's popular to hate on Avatar because, I saw some stories that had some similarities. Avatar pulled a little bit from this, pulled a little bit from that. It's like, yeah, movies do that all the time. I mean, Bug's Life is Seven Samurai. Cars from Pixar is Doc Hollywood. The Magnificent Seven is also Seven Samurai. The good, what was it? Not The Good and Bad, the Ugly. Fistful of Dollars, the Clint Eastwood film, is Yojimbo. Movies copy each other quite a bit. I'm sure there's even better examples out there to use. Stories rehash, but I think as long as you do it well is what's important. And there's not been movies like Avatar. I mean, until you get into the Star Wars realm, and Star Wars is already kind of unique in its own right. Let's see. Jimmy, I appreciate your swift payment, sir, and I know this dollar will be spent all in one place. All right, Fantastic Four, Jonathan Hickman. I hope everyone's enjoying. the Fantastic Four. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying, I'm not a Fantastic Four guy, to be honest. I've only read a sparse handful of fantastic stories in my life. I do want to change that because as I get older, I feel like the Fantastic Four becomes much more appealing to me. But when I was a 13-year-old boy coming into Marvel and being an X-Men fan and a Thor fan and an Iron Man fan, I was into the cool stuff like a Punisher. And I looked at Fantastic Four and I'm like, it's three weirdos in blue jumpsuits and a rock guy. I was like, these guys look cornball. They never appealed to me, but I didn't understand. I think the family aspect of them I appreciate more as I'm older. So, for those of you who might be jumping in the first time, I'm double checking. I can see on the screen. I do have visual. The story so far, Reed Richards has discovered that there are other Reed Richards out in various multiverses, and they have all come together to form the Council of Reeds. And the Reed Richards of 616 was faced with the choice of joining the council and trying to solve everything, but abandoning everything else that he loves, including his wife, because that's the way it has to be done. The price of everything is everything. And in the last issue, Reed made the choice to come back to his wife, to which I commented, I'm not sure that's going to stick, but I really like that ending. Like, that made it for me. Like, that's the right choice, at least for storytelling. I don't know if in reality that's the right choice, but we don't read comics for reality. We read comics for escapism and to reaffirm in our souls, truth and justice and virtue. And I like that choice. That's the choice that I want to be. And so hopefully Hickman does not disappoint me. He hasn't been out so far. Ryuk says, Ash is out here ruining childhoods and hates kids, shaking my head. I'm not hating kids. Jesus. Jimmy says, to say Avatar isn't great is to say James Cameron is not a master, which would be slander. And that's a suable offense. Can't disagree. James Cameron is a master. He's my favorite filmmaker of all time. Let's see. Skip says this is a great issue to have before the next one. Dane says John Byrne Fantastic Four is the best. Well, Dane, before I get started, I just want to say on Comixology, John Byrne's Fantastic Four, I just picked up. It's part of the freebies. I hope everyone else picked it up. I will be reading that too. Looking forward to that. But as of right now, Hickman's doing some pretty amazing stuff. So let's get into the story. I'm really sorry, Mom. Sorry is fine, Franklin, but there's no getting out of the fact that you are both in trouble. Now tell me what happened. Well, first there was a man. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot. Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm decided to go on a vacation, and the kids stowed away on the Fantastic Car. I forgot that part. Hurry! Someone has activated the portal from the other side. If you wanted me to move faster, you should have built me a better body. What the heck? I did the best I could with what was available, Alyssa. Oh, sorry, it's a female voice, geez. At least now you're not just a well-preserved brain on a shelf in my lab. Now concentrate. We have to get to the gateway before it closes, or whoever comes through will have no way back to Earth. Would that be so bad, Teddy? I'm happy here. If you had eyes, I would tell you to use them, love. These are the end times. The sun collapsed and formed a singularity. Now we're being slowly sucked in. Space-time is buckling. Your heart rate is elevated, dear. Please relax. You know you have a history of heart disease in your family. We're trapped in a petri dish of unnatural progress. A fake world full of refugees from 500 years in the future undergoing abnormal evolution acceleration, the cause of which will eventually kill us all. This is not how things are supposed to be. Halt. You are now entering Ultron territory in violation of current treaty. Trespassing is not permitted. Oh, shut it, Zack. This way. It's just over the ridge. Nice. We're too late. Oh, boy. Okay, this is definitely not right. Stay where you are. You better point that thing somewhere else, pal. Authority figures have been summoned. Do not attempt to flee. Whoa, Zack. There was a man. And he had a gun, and he was shooting robots, and he was asking for Daddy. Where is the rest of the Fantastic Four? Where is Reed Richards? And then things got crazy. At home? Where both of these stowaways should be. Told you we should have just turned around. No offense, yelling guy with guns. But who are you and what happened to this place? Fine, bad call. Yeah, we were just here 2 weeks ago and it didn't look nothing like this. That's because it hasn't been a couple weeks. It's been 8 years. And I'm Ted Castle. I built New World. We've met. Unfortunate about Reed. Now we have to run. Exactly. Back through the portal and all the way home. Mister, you know there's a black hole in the sky, right? It's what's left of our sun, and you can't use the portal because it was damaged when we first got here. I was hoping your father could figure it out how to get it working again. Well, Quiet, young lady. No more time for talking. I have to hide you before the armies of Lightwave and Ultron get here. Dearest, bad news on that front. Oh, Dane's gotta leave. Bye, Dane. Man, I was doing it right this time, too. Kids, get out of here. Ben, Get going, I'll catch up in a second. Oh, and Johnny. Yeah? You're the worst travel agent ever. Yeah. I'm in a bad mood, robots. All I wanted was a nice, smash, quiet vacation. Well, I'm sorry, Ben, but this most certainly is not going to be that. Uncle Ben! Move it. He can take care of himself. Ba-boom. What happened here, Ted? Very bad things, son. At first, everything was fine, perfect. A new government, a new society. Even to as reluctant a believer as myself, it was salvation for a world full of refugees. Then, our star collapsed in on itself. Now, New World skirts on the edge of the event horizon, and time here flows faster than normal space. Wait a second. Did Hickman just watch Interstellar before he wrote this? Sorry. Back to the program. The will of 8 billion survivors was broken. That's when Lightwave and Ultron took over. After that, there was revolution and war. They began to control the populace through their omnipath, Natalie X. Sedated and docile, most of the people on New World sleepwalk through their lives. Most, but not all. Hey, what's that? The pinnacle of human achievement. It's so high that if they are able to reach the proper altitude, the gravity of the black hole will suck them out into space and towards the abyss. For those not numbed by state control, bravery, ascendance. Oh. Oh, ascendance, the black hole, singularity, Skip, you knew about this. I know you knew about this. A little jetpack and the pull of oblivion makes them both astronauts and angels. And what lies on the other side? They'll know before you or I will. Yeah, and 8 years has done wonders for you in the category of sounding less crazy. Where are we going, Ted? The only place I know you'll be safe, son. Sanctuary. The center of the earth. Home. The fortress. Capital of New World. She was there? Castle will take them to the wheel. We must go there and take the Richard's daughter. Oh, sorry, I read this wrong. The lettering in this comic is not good. But I gotta pause here. Partly because I need to put some eye drops in. My eyes are dry and it's hard to read a comic when you're... Hold on one sec. Oh, hope that helps. Yeah, I did not like the lettering in this book. And I'm going to chalk it up to Hickman being a little bit less seasoned as a comic books writer. The way his dialogue is flowing, I don't know if it's a problem with the lettering or whatever, but it's just... half the time I don't know who's talking. Like on the previous page here, like, I hate this. This is a big problem I see all the time. You get a word balloon attached to a space station. Who was it? Is it a man speaking? A woman speaking? I don't know. I should know who it is. Especially, like, go back here to who's talking inside the ship. 2 people? Don't know. I don't know who's having the conversation. That's... I know this is a thing that lots of people are guilty of. It's not... But it's one thing that needs to be avoided if possible. So I'm going to start back over here. So, whoops. The fortress capital of New World. She was there? It was her. Castle will take them to the wheel. We must go there and take the Richard's daughter. I disagree. We should not break the pact. That man has kept all of us alive, and the girl... My daughter is overly aggressive, Alex. Perhaps it's a genetic defect, but we must take the child. What else would you have me do? We've already lost one Earth, and we're on the verge of losing another. We promised to save as many of our people as possible. Are you no longer willing to do that? Abduct Susan Richards' daughter? No. Here I draw the line, old friend. So now we go after them? No. I think patience is what's called for. We have been grim. They will come to us. The holding area of the fortress. Oh, my aching head. You were out for quite some time.
What? I was beginning to get worried. Banner Jr.? What are you doing down here if your pals are running everything?
I ask the wrong questions too often. I do the wrong things. I'll make them all remember what we're supposed to be.
So you're a prisoner too, huh?
Only of conscience, Ben. And only that as long as I choose. Yeah, it's hard to hold the Hulk. Jimmy says, you want to know what sucks, Ash? I have chronic dry eye and allergic to eye drops, you lucky guy. Well, just get saline. You don't have to have like chemical eye drops. Saline should help. Anyways, say what?
The portal has been damaged beyond repair. You and your friends are stuck here.
No way, weird guy. I want to get Uncle Ben, and then I want to go home.
Again, there's nothing I can do about the portal. But Johnny and Alyssa are out trying to rescue your friend now. See? The world system shows that he's in the holding facility beneath the fortress. There's an access tunnel.
Excuse me.
Running beneath.
Excuse me, but what's the exact problem with the portal?
I don't have time to explain.
Mister, you need to tell me.
Fine. Building the portal is no problem. We could do that in this very lab, but we lack the two other things. An adequate power source. And wait, what is that?
Uh-huh. So what's the other thing we need?
Outside the fortress later.
We'll have to move quickly once we're inside, Johnny.
Rumble, rumble.
I promise no one wants to get out of here faster than... Hey. Well, would you look at that? The automatons and the humans have split. They're leaving us behind. Things are falling apart quickly now. We go this way. They are here. Back at the wheel.
Okay, switching the power on.
Awesome. Now for the other thing.
The math necessary to open this portal back to Earth. A team of 100 scientists worked that out when we first built this place. It's why I was hoping your father was with you. He's the only person I've ever met with the ability to do calculations like that by himself. Sorry, I read that wrong. But calculations that by... Oh, Jesus. Man, I'm just not with it today. You guys got me all freaking triggered. Actually, I got myself triggered. It's not your fault. The ability to do calculations like that all by himself.
Yeah? Promise me you won't tell anyone. But I'm already smarter than my dad.
Of course you are.
I can do this. Go pack. As soon as everyone gets back, we're going home.
I can't go. I can't leave all these people. They need me. There are constant adjustments, constant corrections necessary to keep us from being pulled into the black hole. Eventually we'll lose. The pull will be too great and everything will end. But a good captain goes down with his world.
Just eating a sandwich. You want a sandwich?
Thank you.
So random.
The fortress.
Hey, who's ugly and needs saving?
Kiddo, I've been beating on these bars for the last hour. You get me out of here and I take back everything bad I've ever said about you.
Well, don't worry, Ben. That won't be a problem. Click, click.
Alyssa, what happened to you?
That's, oh. I can't, bzz. I can't feel my legs. Bzz. That's because you don't have any, dear. Squish. Oh. Psionics. Hello, Johnny. You haven't written. You haven't called. What's a girl to think?
You killed her. Wolf.
She was an organ in a jar. It was going to catch up to her eventually.
Ted will never forgive you, and you can't run this world without him. You let go of Ben before I...
Oh, I'm reading the wrong voice again. See, it's freaking lettering. Ted will never forgive you, and you can't run this world without him. You let go of Ben before I... Stay where you are, Johnny. I've gotten much stronger these last few years. I'll crush him into tiny pebbles.
Don't listen to... Okay, listen.
As for Ted Castle, yes, he came up with a way to save this world, and only he can run the backward legacy systems that it uses. But we're not going to need him anymore. See, Johnny, we know how gifted that little girl is going to be. We'll get Val to build a portal, and then we're going to do what we should have done in the first place. Send everyone back to Earth. And teach you people how to... What?
Smash!
Oh, her jaw just got knocked off. Ah. You know, this is something actually is kind of funny because I always say this, like if Hulk or just anyone with super strength, like even like Spider-Man strength, actually punch someone, they wouldn't just like go flying. Like you literally just punch and their face would explode. Like it just, so this is kind of interesting because it's like Hickman understands like the Hulk would just splatter people if he punched them, like normal people, not obviously not like the Thing or something. But anyways, back to the story. Johnny Storm not missing a beat. You okay?
Yeah, nice ex-girlfriend there, pal. Come on, we're going home.
What are you doing here, Banner?
Staying here. Lightwave and I have unfinished business, and I don't run.
And then what happened when they got back to the center of New World? I asked Mr. Castle. Oh, I can't see because of the stupid comicsology thing. I asked Mr. Castle if he was sure he didn't want to come with us. He had to stay? Yes, because no one else could do his job. Only he could pilot the world. I wonder. Wonder what? Do you think we'll see them again? The King of Light? The Green Man? The captain of the ship? I don't know, Franklin. That's the best thing about being in our family. You never know what exciting thing is going to happen next. Now, time for bed. But Mom, I can't sleep. Well, that's just tough, mister. You've got a big day ahead of you tomorrow. Hey, look at that. It's after midnight. You know what that means, don't you? Uh-huh. It's my favorite day of the entire year. Happy birthday, Franklin. Huh. That was an interesting issue. Sorry if I botched it up. Zorn. Which one of those guys was Zorn? Who did I miss out? The sandwich scene feels like graphic novel padding, says Maranya. Yeah, actually, I give it forgiveness because I thought it played off well. What it feels like to me, it actually is modern Hickman, where like I read in his X-Men stuff. It Hickman feels like in his X-Men stuff he uses a lot of padding, a lot of fluff. And this book, of the four, actually the five now that I've read, felt the most like this what I'm reading of the Dawn of X stuff. A lot of convoluted stuff, a lot of confusion. It didn't ring home to me the way the previous issues have done. It felt, and it's, you know what's really weird is when you have fluff, or we can argue that it's fluff at least, in a comic book, but then you also rush through other things. Like, for example, when we last left off, the kids were just stowing away into the Fantastic Car. This issue doesn't show them arriving or anything. They're just there. Well, they come through the gate at least. Oh, I hate when this happens. They come through the gate, and it's just like the Ben and Johnny, right? Yeah, here, like they're through the gate, and it's just like, hey, the kids are with them, like it's no big deal. There's no addressing, like, wait a second, there was no, where's the scene of where they get discovered? Like, what the hell, you guys stowed away? Like, there's obvious gaps in the story missing that we have questions to, because the story led us down that path of, okay, they're stowing away, or what's going to happen when they get caught? The story never addresses that, but instead we get other panels of things that are just don't feel wholly necessary. This page here at the wheel, the center of the new world, felt a little bit where Hickman's trying to be funny. This is reminded me of his, not quite to the extent of New Mutants, but similar. Yeah, I thought this page was actually kind of charming. Part of it has to do with the fact, like I said, I live with two kids about this age. So I can kind of relate on this level. But you're right. You could take this page out of the book. It wouldn't hurt anything. Another thing is these characters are confusing. I don't know anything about any of these characters. Skip says like Zorn. I'm like, which one's Zorn? Who's Zorn? I'm like, the Zorn I know looks nothing like this. I don't know who these people are. That's not good comic writing. It's confusing. It's just a bunch of characters that were thrown in the story, don't know who they are, don't know what their purpose is, and then we leave. So, yeah. It's just okay for me. I enjoyed it still. I don't think it's a shitty book. But it felt, compared to the last books I read, this felt more like, oh, hey, and now for a little side adventure story of something that's, you don't even know what it means, what the significance is, what it's related to. Hopefully the future books rectify all that and just make me go, oh, okay, this is just building into something. But I didn't feel like I read a story here. I just felt like I read a random excerpt. Actually, it feels like I read the middle. Like I just opened up a trade paperback into like the 4th issue and was just like, hey, let's read this. And kind of funny enough, that's exactly what I just did. This is the 4th issue of a trade paperback. So, except I read the 4th issue, the three issues before it, and this doesn't make any sense of these stories. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep reading it, but it just goes to show, at least for me, not everything can be a home run. Ryuk says, well, I off to bed tonight. Everyone stay safe. Ryuk, thank you for paying attention and staying with me through all my nonsense. Thank you, everyone else, as well. I kept you guys up late. I appreciate you, everyone, being here. I am going to keep trying to improve my comic reading skills to entertain you. I do want to be entertained. I do enjoy sitting and talking to you guys. I enjoy you talking to me. I enjoy jibber-jabbing about a bunch of nonsense. And hopefully you got some enjoyment out of tonight, whether it was just making fun of me or what. But that's going to do it for me. I might jump over for a little bit over into the Discord because I haven't done that in a little bit. If anyone wants to educate me on what's going on with these books, and get me to understand, or just say hello, and use your voice instead of chat, you're welcome to come over. If you don't understand how to get there, just let me know. You can reach me here or on Twitter or any number of places. So thanks so much. Thanks for waiting. You missed Tuesday. I'm going to have another episode on Sunday. Again, I'm going to keep up with Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 10, and do my best not to be late. Nothing else to really talk about. I hope you guys are enjoying comics. You have comics that you love, and everyone be safe. Stay away from the CCP virus, and yeah. Bye.